Right. Tim Heiss.
Here.
Keith Malloy.
Here.
Sarah Black.
Here.
Delia and Steve are.
Yeah, since she's not
Okay.
coming. Okay. Trust those us are here, had a chance to review the minutes. If no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, who's the same? There's Steve. Okay. And don't have anything.
Delia's not going to.
Yeah, I just texted her. She did the same thing, so.
Sorry, I got delayed.
That's all right. Well, Eric had to take a call, so don't have any department head. Steve, do you have anything?
For this meeting, I don't really have anything at this point.
Okay. Amy, do you have anything to?
Not beyond what is in here.
Okay.
I guess I can update the board. The county, from what we can tell, I haven't got the final document from Meeks, but from what I can tell, the county has identified that the properties that they invest in for demolition have to be owned by the municipality. I'm still waiting for that in writing, but that's what I've been told by two different sources, so I'm assuming that's accurate. And so that would put 3 houses on our list that we would be able to demo. It'll be a 3-way tag team operation. The city will pay for the dumpsters and the removal. And then once we have the total per property, we would submit that total per property to the recycling district for hopeful 50% reimbursement of that cost. And then, so we would be partnering with the county, the city, and the recycling district for the demolition of the blighted properties.
On the the Pearl Street building, Schaefer Sheet Metal building, is there a possibility we can put some of that brick in our fill? We can haul that, a large portion of that. Okay, good, because that would probably, I mean, we're gonna have some expense in that, but still save us.
Yeah, I
Significant
got
expense.
one quote back on demoing those 3 properties, and they came in for all 3 of our properties. The work, the labor to demo was under $8,000 per property.
Okay. Okay, good. Well, that's at least moving in the right direction.
We're about a step and a half closer to
There's
having a plan.
the one thing that I feel like we're going to have to be prepared to address questions on is that there's been some question about particularly 726 North Howard as far as people thinking there's viability to saving that. And
I
don't feel it's viable.
I don't disagree that there's a conversation to be had about the viability of that property. From the outside, it still looks square, it looks stable, but I've had at least 6 builder developers in that property to evaluate it for possible redevelopment, and they've all passed on that opportunity. So if we go down that rabbit hole, I think we would have to verify. You know, we've done 2 renovations on 2 gifted properties to the city, and we know that we're well into $100,000+ for renovation. I'm saying if somebody could prove that they had $200,000 in cash to invest in the property, okay, we can chase that nut. But I'm not in favor of giving it on the promise of redeveloping.
That's what I said, the one statement that somebody had said they had a lot of ideas for that property.
Yeah,
well, ideas don't pay bills.
I don't disagree. It's they were literally going to the bathroom on the floor and then buckets. It's not what people think it is on the inside.
The other comparison is Ron Holt's rehab of the Huddle property. And at this point, he probably spent, he spent around $70,000 in materials, and he didn't track his labor specifically because of how he was doing that, but I think it's fair to say by my observation of what he did, that he's got that much in labor too.
Yeah.
And I don't think you do one as cheap. And that house wasn't as bad as 726.
Right.
It has some different issues, but it wasn't as bad. And 726 is kind of one of those too, where that house doesn't have any subsiding. The siding you see on the side of the house is it. There's one layer of siding, and some of it's not in very good shape. So it's a total gut, inside and probably outside. So I think you're more like in that 200,000 neighborhood is probably accurate to make a good, viable, nice property out of it.
That would be my assessment. I'm not opposed to it, but I think it's a big uphill struggle.
726.
Mhm.
Where is that?
It's right across from Stacy Boat.
Yeah.
Oh, the brown house?
Yeah.
Oh.
Sits up on a hill.
And we have had trouble with that
Her
house
parents used to live
A
there.
long time.
for decades, literally decades.
Plus, it's been Frankenstein by making it a single-family home to a duplex to back to a single-family home. So I have no idea how any of that was done, and sometimes that can't be undone.
So
So
I think as soon as you go inside it, I think your mind would probably, I haven't been in it, but I can guess that was really, really bad. So I don't, my thought is that I'd be willing to entertain it, but I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. I don't want to delay the process very long. We're not going to sit around waiting for somebody to come up with a plan.
The reality is, I mean,
But
you
it's
know,
been
if
a
you
long
put
time.
200 in it, it's gonna be, you're gonna try to sell for 240 or 250, and
It's not worth
there
that.
are several houses sitting right now in that range.
Yeah.
So, that aren't purchased.
Including Ron's house at 200,
Right.
so that's,
So I think his house bigger than the one on down here?
I would say it's comparable.
it's comparable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. Don't have anything else. Eric, you want to, hold on, we'll go ahead and move, get Eric take care of here.
So the booklet that I have given you each is a proposal to replace 2 of our apparatus with 1. This is also being done in collaboration with Union City, Ohio Fire Department. We've been working diligently to reduce our fleet and essentially do more with less. You can see in there that it's a 2020, it's a used apparatus. It's coming out of the British Columbia area. It's a small department that basically said it's too big for them. I secured the financing rates, as you can see in there, from both the banks. And then the additional attachment that I gave outlined an itinerary for the proposal of 2 personnel going out to inspect it and make sure that it would meet our needs. I'm happy to answer any questions. So as we currently sit, we have our newest or most current apparatus is a 2030 engine. And so we want to get ahead of the curveball and make sure that we're setting up for the future and not going to have issues down the road with a 25-year-old piece of apparatus.
So there's an engine from Union City, Indiana, and an engine from Union City, Ohio that would be traded in for this?
So, no, these are both Union City, Indiana engines.
Okay,
Union City, Ohio had already offloaded one engine,
okay,
and then we are going to put together a plan to work with the Union City, Ohio administration to replace some of their fleet because it's as well just as old. I believe one of their apparatuses is at 95, and the other one is in 1996. And so
okay.
with this acquisition, this would put us in a forward-moving position for the future and enable us to build.
Okay.
What's
And-
a machine like this typically
He's-
last?
He's got it in there.
So
I didn't see it.
this
20 to
apparatus,
25
20.
years, I think.
we're going to be looking at 20, 25 years out of this. We'll be reducing the maintenance cost by roughly 50%. Again, it's all outlined in there for you.
So what's the protocol with this? Is this something that comes out of your budget? Is this something that's,
So,
I see the estimated yearly cost based on the percentage rates.
right.
So where does that money come from?
So, that is the problem where we are running into where the city, do they just do an additional appropriation for the purchase of this? And then, I don't know how that would
Okay.
go from there.
Okay.
Um,
What's the,
Steve
So
actually
you
had a little
talked
bit more.
about doing you were requesting an additional appropriation line of 600,000. So is that,
That's if they were paying cash for it.
and it looks like if you
And so
If you
the,
sell the other two, it'd only be financing of $450.
correct. And so one of the things that we ran into is that this is being co-brokered by two apparatus companies, Brindley Mountain Fire Apparatus and Company 2 Fire Apparatus. They are co-brokering it. So neither one of them actually own the apparatus. And so what we would have to do is essentially buy this outright. Company 2 and Brindley Mountain have given me their assurance that they would be willing to co-broker both of our apparatus. And in talking with them, they say that what I have described, it should be able to generate more than the 75,000 to offset that.
okay, no, the one fire truck that's being proposed being sold, that is the collateral for the line of credit right now. So that line of credit would have to be paid off to be able to get that title released.
Okay.
So that's, so with it coming out of British Columbia, what kind of, I mean, what are the fees to get it into the States? Are you looking at tariff
Good question.
cost and
We have
everything
not got
else?
that- We have not gotten to that point yet because we don't know what that is to be able to come across. We're still trying to find out what that piece is.
Does it get held up in customs for quite a while before it can get released
We,
to even,
we don't know. And that's what we're trying to figure out. We've never encountered anything like this before. And this particular apparatus is actually checking off all the boxes for what we are trying to accomplish. And nothing within the United States that we.
One of the brokers ought to be able to help us figure that out. They've surely done this
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. And so, once I get that information, I can definitely pass that along. I did get a verbal agreement, I guess you could say, essentially from their fire chief, that indicating that they would be willing to sell it for 600,000. They have it listed presently, I believe it's 690 or 680,000. But they would be willing to sell at 600,000. And then again, I'm just looking for permission to be able to send 2 personnel out there. Both of them have their passports. Both of them are ready and willing to go.
My concern with is sending them out, because it looks like you're wanting to send them this Friday,
Correct.
so you don't know what the cost or anything to bring that across.
Right, and that's what we're still actively trying to get that piece, and so once we get that,
Well, then if you're talking about 600,000 that they're willing to take for it, and then we're still up in the air on transportation, and then what are the brokerage fees? So what's that turn into? I mean, I still don't, quite frankly, I still don't know where the money comes from. You know, it's kind of academic to me at this point, because I don't have any, nowhere in 2027 and 28 and beyond where that money comes from to make the payment. I don't dispute the need or the you know, the move to do it. I just don't know where the money comes from.
Yeah, I understand.
That's the issue that I have.
if we were to take this particular truck and request to have it built right now, we'd be looking at 1.5, 1.7 million and about a 5 to 7 year wait time.
What is the, maybe, oh, there it is, 10 years.
And with the, also with the current state of flux in the state in terms of what SB 1's done and where this goes from here, I don't know, quite frankly, what the state of
And that's why-
Randolph County Fire Departments look like in 10 years from now.
And that's why we want to try to get ahead of this.
Well, that's nice, but keep in mind is that, let's say if there were consolidation across the county, the consolidation goes, but we keep the debt. Nobody's going to assume our debt. So Union City still has to pay the bill. So you're looking at Union City still paying $60,000 a year for a department that we don't have anymore. So that's one of the challenges.
Is there, I know, obviously the equipment that we have right now is pretty old. Is there anything wrong with the equipment, or, I know obviously things are probably going to
General
go.
wear and tear, and then
Yeah.
age, and then parts are going to start becoming harder and harder to get for them. And so, 9843, the one that we're trying to, just last night, we were having issues with the pump, with pumping water to another engine. It was wanting to bog down and shut down on us, so.
So which one of the vehicles is the one that's getting repaired right now?
We have none, everything is back in service.
It is back?
Yes.
41 was the one that the insurance company was
Okay.
repairing. It came back
3 weeks.
last week of September, I think.
It's, yeah.
Who's going?
It would be Greg Miller and Jim Mangus. And both of them have agreed that if they had to, they would pay for it up front and then do a reimbursement if that would be something that is an option.
Got 1,500 in travel budget.
No, it's only 1,000 is all it is anyway. I don't even recommend you send them out there until you decide you want to buy the damn thing. I mean, if you're not gonna come up with the money, or if we can't come up with the money, then that's $2,000 or $1,400 we don't have to
You don't
spend.
have yet. Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't buy it sight unseen. I didn't want them to
No.
go out there, but
Don't you buy it?
there's no reason, I don't think there's a reason to spend the money and have them go out there and look at a truck until y'all decide if there's even a mechanism in place to actually purchase it. If you decide that that don't exist in this economic environment, then our job is to make a proposal of what we think is in the best interest of the fire department, and yours is to decide whether or not it's even financially feasible for the city. And
Sure.
if the answer is no, then the answer is no.
It's
We
gotta-
have to live with the
It's
consequences.
got to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
Which, you know, we've had this conversation that this was coming as far as updating equipment. Obviously, we know everything ages out at a certain point, but it's been a challenge, and then we get hit between the
Now,
eyes
it's going to be a super challenge,
with
but
a change
just
that
so, everybody's clear, the value of what we got is going to continue to plummet, and the price of what we're going to buy is going to continue to double. We're going to go up and up and up. So in 5 years from now, we're going to be faced with a problem that we either just get rid of something or we have to replace it, and there's no good answers here. I get it.
Yeah, I think the first thing to figure out is if there's even money to purchase. I mean, if we don't have money, if it's not an option with the money, then
And then you all can even recommend it, but if the money don't exist, you can't magically make it appear. It's not
Right.
Lucky Charms.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause tonight's the first reading of the proposed budget for '26, so the way I understand it is, an additional could be requested from the state, that the state could turn around and say, it's not gonna
so if we
happen.
requested that, when would we know if we received that?
Right now, I don't know. I've never done it, so I don't know how long the turnaround would even be before they give us an answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this isn't just becomes something outside of our decision at
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah. So I mean, this is a big one, so, I don't have an answer on that one right now.
Well, I mean, obviously somebody's got to do some legwork here to figure out the money before we approve sending guys up there.
We have an option on the table for a reverb of 9843, which we've been talking to, again, Brindley Mountain Fire Apparatus. They can do a refurb of that apparatus. However, it only covers select components, so you're still left with a 2000 body.
That's a 2,000.
Oh,
Yeah,
40,
less than
the
2,000,
41.
Yeah. I mean, it's got low mileage. There's not really anything mechanically wrong with it, but that doesn't change the fact that 10 years from now, after you refurbish and get the major components, the pump, and the things that normally go wrong with it, and
It's 25 years old
And
now.
that-
so
the chassis ends up being 30 years old, 40, and then can you get parts?
The
for
refurbishment
the motors.
price, you're looking at the same cost.
Yeah, it's $500,000, $600,000.
600,000.
So it really doesn't give us a viable.
I would not recommend a refurbish for 500 plus thousand on a
No.
25-year-old truck, no.
Yeah. If you refurbish it for $100,000, then.
Yeah, that's when we started down there. I was saying if it's under 200, now we're in a number that I think if it's got all the major components done, I can do it. But when he said it was 4 to 6, I'm like, I don't think so.
Yeah, that piece, it has some attributes in the fact that we bought that new, and it's been under pretty good care, I've always felt like.
41 we bought new.
Yeah.
41 we bought
Yeah,
new, yeah.
the other one we didn't buy new, it was a used truck.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That
41
well,
we did buy.
41 or 43? the 2000.
41 is the 2003 International.
And we
That's
Or
bought
Freightliner, and it's
That's the rescue pumper that we referred to.
It's just an engine.
the rescue
Well,
pumper we bought used.
We bought that used. Yeah, the engine, okay, I'm getting.
And, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
a
the engine
2003
was
truck, operationally, it's been dynamite for us. We're not really having any problems at all, and we love it.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's 22 years old, and
Yeah,
it's got some years left on it, for sure.
yeah.
But again,
So,
tough decisions.
what do we, I mean, need to do to figure
Well,
out?
I would put a
money?
motion on the floor that they continue to pursue the information that we need. This truck is not a unicorn. There's other trucks out there on the open market that are similar. They're few and far between, I'll grant that, but I think we have to exhaust every effort to see if we can pull this off. Now, that being said, from the budget side, there are, you guys, you have to decide if you're the importance, because there could be things that have to be cut out of the operational budget. If this priority is truly your priority until the budget, because it'll bounce back, but until that happens, you may have to look at significant cuts, not to the operational budget, but in the line items to commit to that payment. I've said all along, we can pay our people whatever we want, we can buy whatever we want, but things suffer. You don't have training, you don't have new gears and new toys and new gadgets and new things that make the operation efficient, because there ultimately is only so much money that is available. So I think there is a path forward, but I think we need more information. We've got to know what it's going to cost to get it into the country, and we got to
Figure out where the money's
figure
gonna
out
come from.
how we're going to do the financing.
Whose job is it to figure that out?
Well, I think it ends up being a combination between the fire department, me, and Amy.
Are you working with a broker right now, you said?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, we have nothing listed to sell right now, but if we were to commit to purchase this, then Company 2 and Brindley Mountain would offer to broker those two apparatus for us and get us the best price.
So does this broker that, potentially would be using, are they also the ones that would be negotiating all the paperwork, getting it into
Yes.
the States?
Yeah, because they're essentially the broker for the department. So, yes. And
Yeah.
so,
We're
I mean, I
working
would think-
directly with the department.
but I've been in
But-
direct contact with the department.
Since they've signed the brokerage contract,
They're,
at the end of the day, the brokerage firms will have
right.
to do the work in it, not the
Yeah.
owner. But we've been talking directly with the owners of the truck, not the
Because I would
brokerage
think the
firm.
brokers would be the ones, I've never touched a Canadian vehicle, so, I would think they would be the ones that would have the insider knowledge as to every step of, because I'm sure there's a lot of paperwork involved,
Yeah,
so.
I've been waiting to hear back from them today. They're down in Alabama, so I'll try to see if I can't hit them up again.
And the vehicle, the new numbers that you've got listed on the current vehicles, I'll probably need to go through all those again with you and make sure, because I know last year you wrote down the correct numbers as of last year, but,
Okay.
so yeah, I'll have to make sure I've got them right.
The-
So we-
The current one probably still is. He's got 3 columns there.
The middle one, the current one should be
Yeah.
what, the way everything.
Ignore the new, because the new don't exist.
Yeah, a couple of the numbers that you wrote down on those last year aren't matching up with what this one says.
What are you looking at in purchases in the next 5 years beyond this truck?
Globally, they've got to do something with the grass truck. The village needs to try to find a way to commit to some kind of a purchase to replace one of them. I mean, their stuff's older than ours. You know, their dilemma at the moment is they have no idea what they got. So it kind of slow walk that. But if they go with a new vehicle, then maybe rural development come in and help with that purchase. You know, they won't do a used, so there's no help there. If we were to do something like this and combine these, that would be the number of vehicles we would have to operate. And then it would just be one for one if they trade something in and get another updated one. But they got to update something in the next 5 years and a grass truck. And then I think I got the money out of non-reverting to update the pickup truck next year. But that's a whole different animal.
What about another commitment, like an ambulance? How far away are we on that?
I don't want to buy another ambulance for 8 years.
So that could be a potential funding source for.
I got them now that we should buy a new ambulance every 8 years.
What's our finance term on the 2024 ambulance?
Well, I think you got a 5-year note, but I'm trying to pay it in 3.
3 years.
That's the goal with the cash flow.
During the end of 3 years.
And it looks like I'm going. If the revenue stream continues, that'll be
So
possible.
that's all out revert, non-revert.
Non-reverting, yes.
Is the ambulance, I don't remember, did we do something with the ambulance to update equipment within the ambulance?
Yes, the ambulance purchase included cardiac monitor and the power cot and
Okay.
the lift system and all that.
We've
included
already
in
done
it.
that.
Yeah, that's all part of it.
And the other big component that they spend money on is extrication, and they just.
We just did that too.
So.
We understand that this is a big
Yeah.
hit and a big ask, but we wouldn't be doing it if we
Yeah.
didn't need it.
FYI, the radios that we talked about the last time you approved, they're there today doing the work. I don't think they'll get them all done today as slow as they're going. But those are in the process of getting done.
You have 28 radios? I
Probably.
mean, that's what the invoice is listing.
Yeah.
I just-
Well, you got mobiles and portables and Yeah.
I'm not accusatory, just asking the question.
well, and FTA requires that every firefighter has a radio when they're in a hazardous environment. So over the years, we got that many radios. I mean, you got how many pieces of equipment are on there? 10. You got 10 mobiles, and there's one mobile that sits up here at the office. That's one of the mobiles on that list. But in any event, they're in there working on that. And then, I don't know if he mentioned it, but we've gotten, we had contact with some group, third-party group, that does billing for fire responses. In talking directly with them, they claim that you are allowed to do that in the state of Indiana. And their paperwork, they sent me over a bunch of paperwork and included Indiana Revised Code, and the verbiage is kind of there. You know, I'm not a lawyer, so I've sent all the information to our attorney to ask her if that really is something that we could be doing.
My assumption that's billing against insurance companies.
It is. In theory, if you have a loss of any kind of a fire with a loss, then we send a bill to your insurance company and get reimbursement out of it. I was hoping that we can do that as a way to maybe make up a little bit of lost revenue with the Senate Bill 1. But the attorneys don't work fast, so we'll see what her interpretation of the law is
Yeah.
about that, but
Yeah, I think that is done in some places. I don't know what how Indiana.
there's some places that do it, and they said the collection rate in Indiana is better because there's laws on the books that says you can do it. Ergo, the collection is more about 80%. In Ohio, where they don't have laws on the books, the collection is more about 50%.
Well, probably partly so that the insurance coverage is probably mandated. You know, the insurance companies are more mandated to have that as part of their fire
Yeah,
insurance
you have
coverage.
fire coverage or
So it's
what.
going
I
to be
don't-
written into that fire insurance coverage if that's the case.
So I don't know how that's going to come out, but I'm hopeful that there's a window in there that we can at least add that piece to help at some point. I don't even know what that would generate. I don't know what that would look like.
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
do
we-
10 calls a year and you bill $3,000, you know, that's $30,000. That's $30,000 we don't have now every year.
No, but there's some times where you can be involved in some incidents that create a fair amount of cost too.
Yeah. Same time when the cabinet factory burnt down, we was there for 16 hours. You know, that'd have been a $15,000 bill or 20.
Not to mention they have to worrying about damaging equipment,
So that's just things I'm working on.
personal equipment.
And as soon as I find anything out about that, I'll be sure to let y'all know.
And that might be the case where even if it doesn't generate a large amount of revenue, in the case of like we talked about the cabinet factory, you can have an event like that, a big event like that could be certainly devastating to your budget for a year or two. If
Yeah.
you damage vehicles, you have damage a lot of equipment, damage a bunch of personal equipment.
We did all that at the cabinet factory.
Exactly, yeah, that was rough, and I don't know what that cost the city, but it cost us.
But part of that, once you do the ordinance,
Yeah,
assuming that's done, there's pieces in that would allow me to bill you as an individual for an illegal burn. So if I come down, we wouldn't do it generally, but
it gives you the.
you're burning something and it catches this whole field on fire, and we have to come out there and run. Well, it's not like you threw a spark in a combine. The field's on fire because you were out there burning in high winds, and
Yeah,
we're going to send you a bill for that.
yeah,
That's not an insurance bill. That goes to the private residence, and whether or not you collect it, it does offer some deterrent to minimize stupid. You can't fix it, but we can try to minimize it.
but logically, if the state law allows for it, the insurance companies are probably already billing you
Yeah.
in your premium for it.
I have a clause in mind for reimbursement of fire services.
Okay.
So
But I don't know what the law says, since we collect taxes and they pay taxes to cover that. I don't know if there's any conflict there, or I don't think we have a specific piece on our tax collection that says it's specific to fire protection, so I don't know that. That's why we pay an attorney. And I ain't it.
Okay. All right.
So we gotta get money. We have to find out how much it would cost to bring the vehicle, all the
How long
collection
it takes.
fees and all that shit.
You know how long that would take to get there?
Add that, okay. Yeah, I'll have him work with the brokers and to get that piece of information,
And then
and you always gotta figure out if it's even possible to borrow that kind of money.
yeah.
And what
that's
line
the
of
big
credit
piece.
is our truck on? What line of credit do we have that?
The line of credit is what, well, the credit cards are tied up on that,
Okay.
and the Rock House. So
which is
that's-
close to being done, which we could sell
Okay.
and get out from underneath that.
So is that just one of them or both of them
Just
is on that?
the
Just one.
There's
rescue
only
pump.
one.
Just the 2,000?
Mhm. Correct.
Okay. So technically, moving this forward, you could sell the 2003 right away, and we can hold the 2,000 until it.
I thought it was a 23 that way. Nothing was on. Okay.
Which one is the one that you said that was a 2003, you said still has a lot of life?
Okay, the 2003 is the newest one. It's the commercial chassis,
It's got the nose on the front.
But
front
that's the
liner's
one
got
that
the nose
doesn't
on the
have
front.
line. That's the one
The
that doesn't
one
have
with
the
the
line of credit.
is the
Yeah.
flat nose.
It is a flat nose. That's the
Okay.
rescue truck. They, like you said, they both are serviceable right now. We run them every day. We're not really having a lot of trouble with them, but at the same time, if you ever drove a 25-year-old car, the starter starts to go out, and then it starts to leak, and then all the electronic components quit working. But we take care of them pretty good. So
And if nothing else, we can probably identify, if we can't do that, we can identify what we can do possibly, right?
Yeah.
We'll find out what the limits are.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we just need to look into the budget piece more, figure what, how much
Yeah.
money is available for that.
I don't have anything else.
Okay. All right. New business, review of proposed ordinance 2025-10. Ordinance establishing changes to access to community dumpster. Got some material in this, so.
I'm not sure where you pulled that, but
Well,
I noticed in
that's
the
just-
draft, I think business needs to be taken out altogether.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, we've never allowed for businesses, and I don't think it needs to be called community. It needs to be specified
what
that it's
your
the city dumpster.
changes are in here, yeah.
Yeah. But that being said, I am completely against this after the last 2 weeks. After,
Is this your note?
yes.
This year, okay.
Yeah. The one Monday, which I put that in the packet, it was a disaster. I mean, we had to fight people. We had to, they would park down the block when there was parking right in front of the building, trying to hide what they had to take down there, arguing with people going down, bypassing the city building altogether and trying to sneak in after someone else went in. It was awful. And I mean, it was an entire day of just battling the dumpster stuff. And then Mary Ann did find a copy of what used to be the guidelines as far as the dumpster, and it never, I mean, it was only the twice a year citywide cleanup that, in my opinion, I think that's what it needs to
Yeah, I
go
don't
back
think
to.
any of this has ever been done by ordinance with the use of that dumpster down there.
But, I mean, the people that are abusing it are the ones causing all the trouble. But for us to try to make sure they're not taking something down, it's almost impossible.
Well, we knew when this conversation started that that's the whole reason we don't do it that way, is we don't have the personnel to manage it. So either we have to completely get rid of it or just twice a year, that's it. I mean, there's no other option. Or it stays the same it is now. So, there, if we want to charge and do all that, it's going to take, somebody's going to have to do that job. I mean, so.
And I know the one day we were having, that wasn't just the only day, but another day when the guys were actually down in a hole because they had a major event go on. They had to pull somebody off of there just to go down and unlock there, and yeah, it's a mess.
And that same week, we had people yelling at our guys because they were slow, because we were in a hole fixing a water main. I mean, it's just, this is a disaster in the making, because if it's not there, trash will start piling up on the properties again. But at the same time, it's almost to a point that it's unmanageable.
I'm assuming that nothing's really changed, that the bulk of this is coming out of properties that are rental properties that are getting cleaned out or something.
That's probably the bulk of it. We have a couple of services that are selling services to clean people's garages and their homes and their properties. Those guys are starting to just dump at our place instead of taking it the best way and paying for the disposal. It's just a multitude of things that are just swirling around all at the same time. It's not any one thing, but it's a multitude of things. And I'm fearful that if we go to the rate charges, what's happened most recently is people's literally coming up here with a pickup truck and one thing in the back, and then going and hooking up to a trailer and taking the trailer down there. And, you know, it's just
My opinion of making the rate thing work you would have to have, if we had a situation where we had a dumpster location where you had a office at the street department, somebody working at that office all the time during business hours that could monitor that and observe that and take care of the charges, then you might have a viable situation. But with the remote, by having to come in the city building, it just, and then the remote location, there's no way that you can properly monitor, plus the added complication of pulling our guys off jobs, and we're trying to get a lot of things accomplished with not a large crew, and I think that it's a few people taking advantage of the situation that the taxpayers are carrying the burden for people to not take care of their obligations as they should, whether it be the individual or the business that's going around and charging somebody. That's really, in my opinion, that's really egregious if you're charging someone for disposal and then using a free city service to get rid of it.
So it sounds like we have three options. Leave it as it currently is, the rate, but if you do the rate, then you have to have someone down there to probably collect the money at the site and dump.
That's not an option.
Or three, you get rid of them. So those are the three options, it sounds like, correct?
Yeah, number 2 is not an option.
So-
We can't hire someone like this.
So then you have two options.
Keep it the way it is. We call it K.I.S.S, or
You
we
just
don't
do
do
the
it at all.
citywide twice a year or whatever.
And we did
Can we
things.
do an ordinance for, is there a trash ordinance currently for property?
Oh yeah.
So they could potentially be cited.
And with just the added thing of we don't even know whether this came out of UCO or UCI. And no matter how much we work together, that's still a thing. If they don't have an equivalent service.
they do have an equivalent service, but we're dealing with the same issues on the high side.
Yeah, and they're gonna have the same problem there. So, and that doesn't stop people from taking advantage of whichever one or both.
So do we need to make a decision on that today? Do we need to vote on that? Those two?
I don't think you have to make a decision today, but I think we have to make a decision before 26, because I think we have to know what to do. And I think the council needs to, at some point in the very near future, get a recommendation from this body on what our thoughts are, because whatever we do, we need to ratify it as an ordinance at some point, because
It's not currently an ordinance for
And the
what
other
we are
thing
doing.
coming up is the fact that we need to get new bids for trash service. I mean, that's coming up at the end of the year also. So,
So the decision needs to be made fairly quickly. Yeah. Also, so we're not continuing to talk about it for the next 3 months.
Exactly.
We've probably beaten this horse about as much as it needs to be beaten at this point.
And I'm not opposed to, there's always going to be an emergency situation where something comes up,
Yeah, storm debris,
So-
it's the same conversation with limb pickup, We get 50-mile-an-hour winds and we lose a bunch of tree limbs, we'll go pick them up. But on a day-to-day basis, calling guys off of projects that they're working on to go pick up somebody's leaves or their yard debris that they collected is not, people in a simple fashion, oh, that's easy, we'll just run down in a pickup truck and pick it up and take it down to the south end, but it's not that simple. There's moving parts and pieces that have to be navigated in that conversation, and it
So-
disrupts the day.
So should we wait till we have our entire body to vote, you think, or?
That's
I know
up to
we're
you
discussing
guys.
it.
I'm good.
I'll entertain a motion anytime anybody wants to present it, today or otherwise. I say, my feeling is I don't think we have a whole lot of a choice but to suspend what we've been doing at this point in time.
And that
I
would-
don't think the fees are feasible at this point.
And that would go into effect in 2026?
Whenever,
Yeah.
that's,
I'm guessing we're
I would
paid
say that we
through
could,
2025?
Well, right now, we're out of contract, we're just paying tips.
we're paying as we go, but I think a soft impact might give some people time to prepare
Yeah.
for that change, would be reasonable to.
Well, I would make that motion to recommend it to council.
Okay. We have a first
I will second that.
and a second. Let's do a roll call just so we got that in the
Okay.
record.
All right, Tim Heiss.
Yes.
Keith Malloy.
Yes.
Sarah Black.
Yes.
Steve Shoemaker.
Yes.
They say no easy decision no matter what on that, because we don't have an ideal situation, but. I
Well,
think we have to-
if the decision comes down to if I'm gonna cut a dumpster or cut someone's job, I'm gonna cut a dumpster. So I know when we're looking at line items
And I
and
guess
budget
I want to
cuts.
amend my motion, if that's okay, to, let's say we'll do 3 cleanup days a year. Memorial Day, Labor Day, and maybe like the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Up
Anybody
to, up to
to
3,
three.
Up to 3.
up to 3.
There, yeah. Anybody have an issue with that? And I'm fine with it. Okay, yeah, I think that would probably be but it's just like I had to talk to Brad the other day, right at the end of the day, and I go down there and he's in the backhoe.
You need to
cramming
put some
down
verbiage
stuff
in there
down.
about the one-off you talked about that says at somebody's authority, we can add a 4th day or a random. Do you have to do that in the ordinance
What's
fashion?
that on the,
Oh, like if you have a storm and we end up having to throw another dumpster out there for something, do you have to have that in ordinance fashion, or can you just decide one day to bring in another dumpster and take
I
care of the
think
problem?
operationally, the Board of Works could make that determination in the event of an emergency or
Yeah.
a storm
Okay.
declaration. I think we could just do that.
Okay.
if we're adding to ordinance, we could even put in there that just say that the city manager in coordination with city department heads has the authority to call for an emergency. Blah, 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 to designate emergency.
All right.
Okay. All right. Well, any comments otherwise? No visitors. So next Board of Works meeting is Monday, October 27th at 1:45 p.m. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
First,
Second.
all in favor?
All right.
Okay.
All right.
2 minutes.